Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast hosted by myself, LaTerra Wair. Hi, guys. Welcome to another week. Sorry I was not here this week or last week. I really had a lot of scheduling issues going on. I'm trying to really get my whole life together and get my scheduling down, such as like just my entire life schedule and everything. I feel like recently I've been seeing a lot of changes within myself, and yeah, I hope that you guys have had an amazing week, a phenomenal week, a fun week. It's been kind of rainy here this week and I love it personally. I saw this meme and it was like, we're in that, y'all know when Robert Pattinson is singing in Twilight and he's singing to Bella when he's playing the piano and everything. Yeah. So I recently saw that and I was like, no, exactly. That's the little season that we're in. That's the time that we're in. Getting right into everything that we're going to talk about. I've been having a really hard time coming up with like topics and stuff to talk about to you guys on the pod. Not necessarily because like I'm just not in it no more, but I just feel like a lot of stuff that I have to talk about is repetitive because a lot of things that I'm going through is girl world things. So if you guys do have anything you would like to hear about very specifically for me to go into, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear. If you don't want to leave it in the comments, DM me and let me know a topic. My Instagram is at the LaTerra Wair. You can DM the production company at LT Legacy Productions and just let us know that you're DMing a topic, whatever. Getting into today's episode, I just kind of want to talk about like changes because the season is changing, and you know, I am someone who very openly goes through like seasonal sickness, and I talk about it very quite often and everything like that. And today I'm super like happy, thankful, very grateful, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like that every day. Like I'm always very thankful and grateful, but it doesn't always come off like it is, right? Like sometimes I just have very sad, outwardly facing days, and that is just what that is. You know, I know that I'm okay, but sometimes I gotta convince myself I'm okay. And I was explaining this to my friend, and I was just like, hey, like, yeah, this last week I felt it. Like I felt that sickness kicking me in the head, right? And they were like, what do you think that is? And I'm like, I don't really know. It just kind of happened and whatever. And then they told me one of the most profound things I think I've ever like heard. And they said, do I think that the seasonal sadness is kind of brought on during fall in specific because you were actually in real time as a person observing like the trees and things change. You get to actually see this seasonal change, right? This season is literally about things like dying off and being kind of dormant in the winter until they revive themselves back in the spring. Girl, that blew my mind. I literally was sitting there like, oh, you ate that. Like you really ate that. That's crazy. Yeah, I think that is a part of it, right? This is not going to be a little saddy episode. I'm telling you guys that to say like the seasons are changing, and I think that, yeah, this is a time of year when I really sit down and like I evaluate all the stuff that has really changed. And I think this is the time where like I grieve. This is a time where I'm like super thankful. I'm super emotional. Y'all, I'm crying like every day. Like dead ass, I'm crying every day. I think that also has something to do with my birth control and me not taking it probably as consistently as I should, or taking it like at the same time and stuff like that, you know, and I'm trying to work on that. I really am. You can be your own downfall. This is just, you know, this is that time for me. This is the time where like my heart be on my sleeve. My heart be so on my sleeve, and it's just crazy. And it just makes me like really evaluate myself as a person more so than anything. Something that I've just evaluated very specifically is in a lot of situations, I think that I kind of like preach and harp on the fact that like you have to grow this person that you are. You have to be the best person or version of yourself that you are. And like you have to work hard for that, right? So I think that as I've gotten older, I tried to be very protective of my person because there was a point in time where like I wasn't very protective of my person, and I was very, how do I say? I was very just not conscious of who I was and like what I am and everything like that to myself, right? Despite that of the world, but just to me. And so I think that once I realized that and I appreciated that and I took pride in that, that pride that I have taken in that has also like bled into other aspects of my life. And sometimes when people say things that disagree, I guess, with me about certain things, it very much so annoys me. And I think that it is just because I take so many things personally, and you shouldn't. Like, you definitely shouldn't take a bunch of stuff personally that people say. And I think that sometimes things that people like say or insinuate hurt my pride a little bit, because I'm just like, how could you? Like, do you know who I am? You know what I mean? And it's not in like a cocky way. It's more so in like, do you know how long it took me and how hard it was to get to this or to get to whatever we're talking about right now? And I feel like some people just like, they don't get that. Some people don't understand that your temperament is different than their temperament. And like, it took you a lot longer to get to places and all this kind of stuff. And I found myself just having conversations with different people. And I've had to learn to put that like aside. And this season of change, this is why I'm bringing this up. This season of change just like really showed me how much I've changed as a person. This time last year, just going in a year cycle, I have done a lot of like internal growth when it comes to how I show up like outwardly in the world and stuff like that. Like I'm someone who now like I refuse to argue my point down with someone, because I've always felt like this, but very specifically now, there's sometimes when you can be talking to a person, and if someone is super convinced in their head, there gets to be a point where like what you're saying is no longer being received, because they've already like kind of made up in their mind what you're saying. So then like there is no listening going on at that point. It's just kind of like, yeah, okay. And yeah. So, and I think for me, growing up, that is something that I've dealt with like a lot. And so like, as I got older, I was like, no, like I want people to listen to what I'm going to say, and I want you to actually listen to me. I don't want you to just like surface level listen and then like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, just don't surface level listen. Because if that's the case, then I just won't explain what I'm explaining. And I think a lot of stuff for me, it takes a lot for me to really go into something, because I just really don't care to have my opinion shared with people, like in a matter of, I'm telling you this because I need you to know this is right. Like sometimes I'm just telling you because I'm telling you. I've had to get that across to several people and share that to several people, but there are also a lot of people who understand that because they understand that I'm just talking to talk. I'm not talking to like hear this or to hear that or to whatever. This is just something in how I feel when I'm in a conversation with people. I have to take my own pride away from it and just be like, you will not be heard in this conversation, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to know that you've stated your point, stated your piece, and if they don't agree, that's fine. It was never like, it's never for someone to agree or to disagree or whatever. Like, it's just, this is how I feel. This is where I stand. I want to make that really clear. As I've gotten older, I feel like every year, every season presents me with like a different growth obstacle or a different like way to grow within my life and stuff like that. And I personally believe that if you are, I think that life will keep sending you certain situations over and over and over again. It may be different people. It may be different, like, different like places and times and whatever, but the same principal situation will consistently continue to happen until you've understood how to like master that and whatever. And I don't think it's like a test or anything. I think it's just like there are things that will happen constantly over and over again in life, and you have to learn how to deal with them. And once you do, not saying that they won't come again, but it won't be as like testing to your person or anything like that. It'll just be like this is what I've dealt with. I've been here, whatever. Or taking my pride out of a situation and just understanding that you won't be hurt all the time is something that I've really grown with this season in my life. And it's something that I think I will continue to grow with. I feel like people don't talk about this enough. When you go through cycles of friends or cycles of like relationships or coworkers or whatever, there's always this sweet period where like you go through this friction, I think, with people, because in forming a bond with someone or in forming a relationship with anyone, two people are now trying to coexist in one like mindscape, if that makes sense. Like you guys are trying to form this bubble or form this environment that fits both of you. And so it's like this dance. And so there are times, and specifically in my life right now, there's so many times where I'm trying to like explain myself to a person or explain myself to one of my friends or something, and it's not coming off right, I guess, sometimes. And then it's more so like a question of, I think there's a difference. Hold on, sorry. I don't know how to get out what I'm trying to get out, but I'll say this. I think that there's a difference in someone explaining something to you for morality and someone explaining something to you that's an idea. How do we say this? If someone is talking to you about things like the death penalty, right? The death penalty usually comes down to a set of morals. Two people will talk about how they feel based upon those morals. More times than not, that is not a conversation where you should really strongly go into something with someone, I feel like, to try and shape how they feel. I think that is something that like you can give your opinion and you can express why you feel that way. But if someone disagrees, that's not a place where you fight that, if that makes sense, because that's someone's just moral thing. If I'm having a conversation with someone over like food choice, whatever, that's something you can go back and forth with someone about, and like that this is a food choice, whatever, and like if you guys are like just when just chatting back and forth about it, and then it's whatever. It's a fun thing. It's nothing that's meant to be super overly serious, but there are things like morals that you have to understand that sometimes someone is set in a different light or set in a different path in their life, and they may not agree with you. And in that, you have to take your pride out of that and respectfully leave a situation. As you go on to meet people in life, everyone's life and everyone's upbringing is very, very different. So everyone's code and like way that they engage is also differently, everyone's code and everything, and the ways that they also engage can also be very different. And so in making new friends and things like that, I've just really had to understand that sometimes there are things that like I am meeting people now in this part of my life that I have not grown up around. And so there will be differences, right? And I talked about this last week. There are moral differences that you can't, in my personal opinion, be friends in spite of, but there are certain differences that it's just like, okay, I just have to like get over myself, or they just have to get over their self. And and I've just kind of been navigating through that and growing through that. And this season changing, like fall is one of my favorite times, one of my favorite times of year. I don't know how, like I love fall. I love winter. These are my favorite two seasons back to back. And this is, for me, pride is one of those things that I've really really been working on and been growing in with myself. For sure, I think it's something that's like a self-preservation type beat. I think that I'm very, as I say, proud of the person I am, want to go forward. And I think that sometimes in that you have to know that your pride is something that can be crippling to you. So just really think about what you're saying, what you're doing, how you're acting, and how you're coming off and stuff, just because it could be not a situation that it's being made to be, you know? So that's something that I've just kind of like really, really, really learned going into this season. And what's something that you guys have learned? Like real life, what's something that you guys maybe struggle with that you continue to see happening to you over and over again in life? Do y'all also feel like life is kind of like that? Like it'll just send you the same situation over again? Because that could just be a singular experience. That could be me, and I just feel like these things continue to happen. But I think that I strongly believe that solely because of like 2 years ago, things that happened in my life. And when I stopped doing certain things, my life just got a lot better. And speaking of like emotional and happy things, y'all, I've been so happy lately on like a very different note, like just internally with myself. And this is a great upside coming out of 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when my friends were reaching out to me and asking me like, hey, are you okay? Are you good? Because you seem a little off or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I've been a little off. I've been cranky. I've been unhappy. And I feel like I'm going through some type of like second puberty or something as a adult, and it's kind of crazy in a way. Like I really do feel like I'm going through a second puberty. Like my skin is changing, my body's changing but not changing. I'm into more things, I'm not into certain things, and I feel like I'm just like evolving as a human and all this kind of stuff. And I have been really happy, especially these last like couple weeks, like or last 2 weeks, because I haven't talked to y'all in 2 weeks. I've been really, really happy. I think I've been really hyper focused. I've been trying to really work on a future plan for myself and a future like goal set and mindset and getting that prepped and all that kind of stuff. I'm so excited to vision board with you guys this year. Almost everything on my vision board has come true this year. I didn't think about that until just now, but like that makes me really happy. It's so important. I feel like I talked to you guys about this also too. It's so important to be disciplined in life, right? That's something that does bring me a lot of happiness. Being disciplined is something that brings me so much happiness, and it just like boosts little serotonin things in my brain. And what I mean by that is, so at the start of all my weeks, I sit down with a physical planner and I write down like all the tasks I need to get done this week after I see everything that I have planned out for like a month. I have a monthly calendar, and then I go to a weekly calendar, and then I go to, and my weekly calendar just breaks down things day by day. So when I get to check those things off, it makes me so incredibly happy because I understand that, hey, like, yeah, I had to be disciplined to do these things, because I am someone who, I'm very productive. I'm very get up, and when I say I want to do something, I want to go do it. But sometimes it takes me a while to do that. Like sometimes it takes me a while to figure out what I want to do because I procrastinate because once I put it on paper, it feels really real. And I've had to teach myself that that is discipline. Like discipline for me is you will get up and you will do things even if you don't want to do them, because you know they are for your better good at the end of the day. Something that I always talk about with that is like working out. I have been an athlete, or I was an athlete in school for like 7 years. I stopped playing tennis and stuff for 4 years. And during that time, there was only a 2-year period in which I didn't go to the gym like completely. And then I picked up, and then I would go spottily, and then now, I go very consistently, and but that only started happening 2 years ago. I've only been going to the gym consistently for a year and a half now, and it's only because of discipline. A year and a half ago, I really sat down with myself and I was like, there are a lot of things that I do because I want to do them, and there are a lot of things that I do because I don't want to do them. And there are a lot of things that I should be doing, but I don't want to do them. When I say I should be doing them, I mean things such as like if your dentist tells you like you should brush your teeth twice a day kind of situation, it's one of those things. It's like, it's a rule that someone is telling me. And if someone asks me why I'm doing this, I'm going to do this because they told me I should do this. I think that I should listen to someone who is skilled in that fact or skilled in whatever, and be disciplined enough to listen to them, even though like maybe I don't want to get up and stand in front of my sink 2 times a day. Maybe I don't want to floss twice a day. Maybe I don't want to use mouthwash, all this type of stuff, whatever. That's just an example, but it's just like that simple type of thing. Like, you have to be disciplined enough. And these things are just basically things that promote you at the end of the day. They ensure the best for you at the end of the day. And that's what I really had to learn. And from that discipline, I have become the happiest version of myself. I can't lie to you. I've become such a happy and thriving and like mentally capable version of myself, because your brain, yourself, is your worst enemy sometimes. Me personally, I am definitely my own worst enemy. I will definitely be my own downfall if I allowed that. And you could be your own downfall if you allowed that, You never know how hard you could really go until you're really pushing yourself. And pushing yourself sometimes means you have to understand, I don't want to do this shit today, but I need to get up and I need to do it because it is what is best for me. And that's something I've really, really learned over this last year of my life, because there's so many things, guys. Like, going to school actually is very much so one of those things that I'm dealing with right now. I'm in the pursuit of getting my master's in business admin with a focus in marketing. And I really only care about the marketing. Like, I really only want to be super, super good at marketing and all this kind of stuff because it's what I actually take an interest in. But in order to do that, like, I got a marketing class my first semester, and I'm about to go through like 6 semesters of classes with no marketing, all just focused solely on like business and a business degree focus and everything like that. And that makes perfect sense, but it's not what I want to do. But I have to tell myself I need to focus. I need to study. I need to be disciplined enough to get through this so that I can get to where I want to get to, which will be better for me and for my life at the end. And it's just stuff like that. And in doing that, I have found a lot of happiness. I found a lot of bliss. I found a lot of like, everything is, everything's great. Everything's grand. That's all I'm really saying and stuff like that. So that's something I wanted to share also with y'all, because I know I be coming on here sometimes and people be a little concerned, but I'm really happy right now. I'm really glad with my life choices and all that. But on that note, let's move into our year delusional statement. Our year delusional statement is actually coming from things that are happening yesterday, and that is the rapture of 2025. Guys. So let me start by saying this. I am not trying to be blasphemous in any type of way. We gotta stop with this fear mongering and propaganda about the religious awakening, about the rapture, about the world ending and all this kind of stuff. The world, for me personally, the world is going to end when the world is going to end. I might be here. I might not be here. And if that is the day that comes, then that's the day that comes. I think that everyone like trying to predict when the world is going to end or trying to predict when the rapture is going to happen and stuff like that, it's kind of crazy. I didn't know it was a thing until literally yesterday, and everyone was like, oh, the rapture happened and what's it called? And I didn't get taken or something. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know the world was supposed to be ending. Like, yeah. Pinch me. That's crazy, right? And I think it's like crazy. I think that the memes are funny. I get it. It's not supposed to be. We're in a very pivotal time in the world right now. And it's great to have these moments where we can have fun and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's wild. Did you guys think that the rapture was happening? Did you guys think the world was ending? Or how do y'all feel about everybody saying that the world's ending every 10 to 15 years? I think the last time that I heard the world was supposed to be ending was when I was in 7th grade, I think, in 2012, or not 2012, in 2012? No, in 2012, I think. Maybe. Something like that. Yeah, but the world was supposed to be ending, and I was like, oh, okay. And everyone was crying around me and stuff. And I was like, guys, it's so crazy for you to be crying like this, that you think that the world is ending or the Lord is coming back because you're 12. When people tell me about that, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. But I'm not too worried. I don't think I'm going nowhere crazy. And if I am, I don't know I am, so yeah. But let me know what you guys thought about the world ending. Yeah. So moving into our what we watching. So I can finally tell you guys this now because I'm almost done, but not almost done. I have a whole nother, the last season to get through, but I've been watching Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is a animated show following this group of scouts, the Scout Regiment, and it's about this world that is infected with these titans, these man-eating titans, and they're trying to figure out how to solve this problem along with what's going on just in their society. It's really good. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I think that I've been told there are no good guys and no bad guys in the show. And that's a reoccurring theme, because another show I'm watching, they have this quote and they say that there are no innocent people at the end of the world, right? And that's kind of the same thing that this gives in a way. I think a lot of the choices are very questionable. I think they're very questionable. I don't think that I would have necessarily made them or anything like that. I think that it's a very emotional show. There's a lot of death in the show. So if you're someone who doesn't like watching that, there's a lot of that. But the story is very intricate. I think that the art styles and the artwork and the just the character choices and how they're choosing to express all these things, that's very, very interesting. But it's a good show. Like I said, I still have not seen the last season, so please don't spoil it for me. And that's what I've been watching. What have you guys been watching? Along with that, I've been watching a lot of repeat shows just in the background in the meantime to pass the time. But yes, I think my next series that I'm going to start though is I've kind of been bullied into watching Stranger Things. So I'm going to get on Stranger Things and also hop on Game of Thrones. Yeah. That's what's next up for myself. But that is what I've been watching. Please let me know what you guys have been watching. And with all that being said, we are at the end of today's episode. So thank you guys so much for listening along with me. If you are an audio listener, please be sure to rate the podcast up above. And if you are a viewer, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think. If you're interested in following more about the podcast, follow us at LT Legacy Productions, or follow me myself at the LaTerra Wair on Instagram and Twitter. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for joining me for another week of the Your Delusional podcast, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. The Your Delusional podcast is produced by LT Legacy Productions and hosted by LaTerra Wair.